Hey, this is your girl Forever Trina coming back at you with another Married at First Sight review. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be the first to know when I drop a new video. All right, let's get into it. So this is season 14, episode 5, entitled It's Not a Sure Thing. So the couple start this episode starts with the couples waking up on their honeymoon. Everyone's waking up and doing a little couples confessional, except for Chris. Chris is by himself because his wife refuses to breathe the same air as him. So that's how that goes. So the first couple we'll get into is Lindsay and Mark. They've consummated their marriage. And when the producer asked Lindsay in her confessional, hey, so have y'all consummated your marriage? She's like, she's laughing, just has this weird freaking laugh. And I'm like, Lindsay, just say yes or no. And it's just this weird laugh. And I'm sure it was edited. I'm sure the producers looped that a few times to make it seem weirder than it was. And then she's like, well, a lady doesn't kiss and tell. When you say that, you just kissed and told. Like, don't say that. We already know what that means. You did. So they consummated their marriage. Great for them. Their activity for the day is making pina coladas. Of course, that was Lindsay's idea. Mark was kind of like, okay, this is a nice activity, but let's just like not drink a lot in like a short period of time. Let's just make sure that, we don't. He was trying every single different way to say, chick, you drank too much. We probably shouldn't have picked this activity, but since you did, make sure you just keep it to one drink. But he was trying to say it in a really nice way. Poor little Mark the Shark. I feel so bad for him. But anyway, they met wherever they were in their little resort to make pina coladas. The first thing that happened was Lindsay got a brain freeze, of course, probably drinking too quickly, whatever, she's extra. And then Mark the Shark proceeded to make a pina colada. He got all in character, put a little shades on. It was just sitting there, doing a little white boy dance. So it's just really cute. He seems like just a really fun loving guy and just wants to have fun on his honeymoon with his wife. So that was super cute. So after they made their pina coladas, they sat down and just kind of had just a conversation. I think Mark brought it up, was like, hey, tell me about your past relationships. And then Lindsay, of course, is like, do you got a minute? Or how long do you have? Something like that. And then she went into the fact that she dated a bunch of engineers in her past, and her dad was just like, you dated a bunch of engineers, I think you dated all of them, you might want to try someone else out or something, since they're not working for you or something like that. And then Mark is just like, well, hopefully I can live up to those engineers. And she's like, no, they're all liars, cheaters, and stealers. So that was her statement. Those are the ones she ran into. They don't work for her. But anyway, so then of course, the same question for Mark. So, hey, tell me about your dating past. And so he told a story about a female who drunk too much and got very emotional when she drunk. So one minute she's up, one minute she's down, one minute she hot, she cold, she's yes, she no, she in, she out. Yeah, sees all of that. And so I feel like he told that story because he was kind of trying to relate it to Lindsay, like, Lindsay, she drunk too much, you drank too much, let's dial this back. Because I just see that Mark is like, he sprinkles little things in there stating you drank too much. So I feel that's what he was doing. But I mean, it may have been, in fact, I'm sure it was a true story, but he just made sure to add she drunk too much in it. And then another thing he stated, that he feels like he's dated women who were not emotionally stable. Like, it seems like this is just from what I've seen so far, and it may be just because I'm comparing him to Lindsay, and she's not emotionally stable. So it seems like he dates females who are not emotionally stable, so he takes on that caregiver type of role, which makes sense. He takes care of his mom, he takes care of his grandmother, and so he's been in that type of role of taking care of another female. So it seems like he attracts females who need that, and coincidentally, he met or has been matched with Lindsay, who needs that. She's not emotionally stable. She's up and down, and she's hot or she's cold. She's on one end of the spectrum, or the other. She doesn't have a middle. And she even stated that later on when I get to one of their other conversations. She said, I'm either in or I'm out. She was like, I'm either all in or I'm all out. I don't have that in between. And it doesn't seem like she does. So that was the conversation there. So I kind of feel bad for Mark because he has a Lindsay. He has someone that I feel he's dated, just like I feel like Katina has dated Olajuwons in the past. Mark has dated Lindsay's in the past. So the next thing I have for them, the next note I have for them is poor Mark the Shark. Because they consummated their marriage, and like, after they consummate the marriage, now he's talking about he wants to step back. Like, he's like, let's take it slow. You know, slow and steady wins the race. The Harrison, the Tour. I mean, he's going through the whole gamut of thing. It's just like Mark the Shark. I understand where you're coming from, that you want to go slow. And it's mainly because all the things that have gone on, all the fights and tensions that she's had with the other females and just with Olajuwon and just, you know, all that. He's just like, it's too much. It's just too much. And so I think that's more of his thing. But the timing of it is terrible. Y'all have just consummated your marriage. You just consummated your marriage and now you say you want to slow down? Bruh, you should have said this before, because all she's hearing is, okay, so now we had sex. Now you don't want to be with me. Okay, now we had sex. Now you want to slow things down. Okay, now we had sex. Now, yeah, it's not translated. I get where you're coming from, Mark, but you gotta see Lindsay's point of view. She's just like, this is a whole, because you've had these thoughts all along. You even shared them with the guys when y'all are on the catamaran. She doesn't know any of this. So all this is so new to her. You're dropping a huge bomb at the absolute wrong time, and she ain't taking it well. And so she threw a few little one-liners out there. They were a little petty. She was just like, okay, so if you want to pull back, let's pull back from you pooping with the door open. Let's pull back from you showing your full frontal. Let's pull back. You want to pull back? Let's pull back in all areas. So she kind of went in, and it was just like, yeah, that was a bit much, but I get it. It's just like, oh, you want to pull back, you want to do things slow, then let's, you know, bodily, you know, other things that go on that you are free with, let's bring that back too. So again, I get where she's coming from. I get where Mark's coming from. It was just poor timing, plain and simple. It is what it is. So that's really all I have for them. The next couple is Jasmina and Michael. Again, like I said, this episode, it wasn't giving me too much. I watched it like 2.5 times, and the stuff that I'm pulling out, I pulled out. Like, I had to like literally sit there like, okay, let me pull some of this out. It just wasn't giving me a whole lot. But anyway, Jasmina and Michael, the first note I have for Jasmina and Michael is Jasmina has a lot of faces. She does. She has a lot of faces. One of them is straight face. I think she has a resting blessed face. I didn't realize that at first, but I think she does. And she just makes different faces. You just have to watch her facial expressions, and she's just like, it's all over her face. But one of the previews, it did say, Michael was like, oh, this is the first time I've seen Jasmina smile since the wedding. And it made me look at her differently, or it made me look again. I'm just like, oh wow, you're right. She doesn't smile a lot. There's a very few amount of times where you've seen her smile. Most of the time she's straight faced. So hopefully the coming episodes things kind of calm, because there has been a few like tensions, little rifts between them, but they're really dumb, y'all. Like, they're dumb fights, and I put fights in quotes because they're not even fights. But they both need to just chill, honestly. But for one of the fights was Michael overthinks a lot, but in his defense, he really wants this. He's really trying. I feel like he hasn't put as much in his past, or he didn't put as much in his past relationships, and that's why they failed. He mentioned, I don't talk a lot, so I just want to make sure that I'm talking and that I'm communicating and that I'm putting my all into it, because I don't want this to mess up. Like, this is real. I'm married. You know, I got a ring. This is real deal. And so he's putting so much pressure on himself that I think it's kind of backfiring a little bit, because since he's overthinking every single little thing, it's like, it's too much. And so when you do that, when you focus so much on one thing, you end up ultimately doing that thing that you're trying not to do. And that's kind of what he's doing. And Jasmina mentioned that, like, hey, I know you want to mess up, but you overthinking, and you know, you're going to be the cause of something not working out. So that was one conversation they had. Another conversation they had when they were on a catamaran, they were asking different questions, and Michael felt that Jasmina cut him off. I was just like, did Jasmina cut him off? Because usually I'll pick up on something like that, because I cut people off. I cut my husband off. So I know what cut off means. And so I was just like, did they? So of course they reran that whole scene. She didn't cut him off. Like, he literally paused and he looked at her, and then she proceeded to talk. There was no cut off. And so from that, he perceived that she cut him off. And so they had a conversation. This conversation wasn't on camera, but they had a conversation where he was just like, you cut me off and I deserve an apology. She was just like, Negro, I'm not apologizing to you because I did not cut you off. I don't feel like I cut you off. I didn't cut you off. I was there just like you were there, and I didn't cut you off. So I'm not going to apologize for something I didn't do. I didn't feel like I did. And so, of course, he felt like he needed an apology. She's like, okay, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way. He didn't like that. He said, that ain't an apology. In a normal situation, okay, and I'm not going to say normal situation, in any other situation, if someone apologized in that way, if they said, I'm sorry you feel that way, no, it would not be an apology, because you're not taking ownership of what you did. You're saying you felt that way. That's on you. Sorry that you feel that way. I don't feel that way. I'm really not even sorry. That's all what I'm taking into with that statement. But because she did not cut him off, like legit did not cut him off, for her to say that, to say, I'm sorry you felt like I did, to me, that makes sense. He didn't like that apology. He didn't take it as an apology. So that was a whole nother conversation. They eventually squashed it, or agreed to disagree, and they moved on. But again, a senseless fight. Like, I really want them to work out, but with Michael overthinking and making up stuff in his head, and Jasmina, like her tagline, no nonsense, her rest in blessed face, and her, I don't know, I still really can't put my finger on her personality. I don't know if they're working against each other, but hopefully something will break. They'll both kind of back down, chill out, just enjoy and be in the moment. I think Jasmina is about being in the moment versus Michael. He's a planner. He's strategizing. He playing chess and she playing checkers. That's really what it seems like. So hopefully they can get it together. They can get on the same page and get this thing going, because I really want them to work out. But just the way things are going right now, they're picking really senseless fights, honestly. So that's all I have for them. Next couple, Noi and Steve. It is cool. It's cool that they're connecting. It's still the beginning, so we'll kind of see how that goes. For me, I'm a skeptic. Again, Steve don't got no job. Just from past episodes, he I don't want to say he rubbed me the wrong way, but just different things he's saying, I'm just like, I just don't know about you. I'm not all there with you. I'm not totally on board with you yet, Steve. So I got one eye on you. I'm still checking you out, but I'm glad they're getting along. I'm glad they're connecting. They seem to have chemistry, all that good stuff. Again, they on their honeymoon. This is like day 3. So yeah, this is the normal thing that you should be doing at this point. They were having a conversation. Steve likes to camp. Noi was like, nah, I ain't really down for that. He was just like, you don't want to camp? And then his little confessional, I always, wanted to, take adventures and go camping with my wife. That is a very specific thing for you to say. It's not a lot of people who are just on board to go camping, i.e. me. I do like an indoor bathroom. I do like indoor plumbing and taking showers and stuff like that indoor. So that is it's something that you can't expect that from a wife that you were matched with. If you wanted something that specific, like Alyssa wanting something super specific, you need to choose your own wife. So that kind of, he just seemed really disappointed. Like, dang, she ain't gonna do that with me. Nah, bro, she probably won't. You gonna have to do that with your dude, your friends, cause she don't look like she budging on that one. Just saying. But anyway, he seemed all disappointed from that. Noi may give in. She may be like, let's do it. But honestly, she was just like, nah, I don't want to. Nah, that ain't me. Nah, I need indoor plumbing. Like, she was straight faced, like, that's not what I do. So we'll see how that goes. They had a date, little picnic date. They were kind of just talking about the night before and what happened. It was a comment he made about I had to attend I had a meeting to attend. So in my head, I was just like, oh, he got a job now? Not realizing meeting to attend was code for I needed to go to the bathroom. I needed to poop. And so they kind of were laughing about that and how, different things that they're gonna have to get more comfortable in front of each other. But it was just a general conversation. But it was just funny how the meeting to attend kind of I don't know, it just flew over my head. I don't know what was, again, this episode I was pulling stuff out my tail to try to jot down because it just wasn't giving me a whole lot. But that was funny that I almost missed that. Noi is falling in love, but she's a hopeless romantic. I mean, she crossed oceans for some guy, some dude to go meet him. She loves love. So it makes sense for her to be in love in 3 days. So she proceeds to tell Steve this. Personally, if I'm a person who falls in love that quickly, I probably wouldn't have told him that I fell in love. But Noi, being Noi and open and one just love, and I want you to love with me, she proceeds to tell him like, hey, I feel like I'm falling in love with you. He was like, okay. He was like, I can't really say the same thing. I like you a lot, but I have strong feelings for you, but yeah, love, nah, I can't say that one. And I appreciate that about Steve. You could tell Noi was not happy. That's not what she wanted to hear, but I'm all for honesty. Be upfront with me. And one thing he said, I wanted to honor my feelings, and I didn't want to be rushed into saying something when I'm not there. I appreciate that. He knows himself enough, and he's created boundaries for himself, and he honors those boundaries for himself to say, I ain't there. And like, we as females, males too, we have to honor who we are. We have to honor our feelings, our emotions. If we're newly dating someone and they're going 1,000 miles per hour, that does not mean we have to go 1,000 miles per hour. We can literally say, hey, that's cool. 1, pump the brakes. 2, I'm not there yet. I think we're so afraid of losing love, losing the opportunity to be in love and to be with someone, that we're not stating those things that are true to us. And I've done that in the past where I'm that person, they're on board and they're ready to go, and I'm just like, I'm not there, but I make myself be there. And in the as things progress, it either comes back to it always comes back to bite me in the tail. So I am all down for Steve saying, okay, thank you for telling me that I'm not there. So I'm so down for that. And I think later on when they had this discussion again, because Steve did realize, she probably wasn't, she kind of side-eyed me. She wasn't really happy about my response. But after they had the conversation again, she was just like, no, you got some good points. Because he was like, we don't know each other. He was like, literally, this is day 3. We know nothing about each other. Let's get to know, like, other things, like when you will get a job. Let's talk about stuff like that. Those real things. But so I was so there for Steve's statement. Again, I ain't totally on board with Steve, but I like the fact that he knew himself enough to know, I am not going to say something I don't mean. That is not going to come out my mouth because you want me to say it. And because I have these feelings for you. Again, these are 3 days. Right now, this is lust. This is, you're cute, you're pretty, your body is nice, and I want you. That's what it is right now. That's all you have. You don't know the person. So again, I'm cool with the whole situation, or with him saying what he said. Noi, again, I do feel she got on board later on, like, okay, he does have a point. We don't know each other. The only other comment I have for them, when they were in the pool, they were vibing. I think Steve was like, yeah, I like you. She's like, from a scale from 1 to 100, how much you like me? He was like, between 50 and 100. And so it was kind of it was annoying / cute, because she kept saying, well, how much do you like me? Between 1 and 100. Well, how much do you like kissing me? Between 1 and 100. So that it was just like, dang, Noi, stop trying to force this dude to like you more than he like you. He like you, just leave it alone. So it was kind of cute / annoying for me. But that's all I have for them. She love. I hope it works out for them. She is so invested in this whole situation. So I hope things go well. Again, my eye is still on Steve. I'm just not all there with him, but we'll see how that goes. All right, so the next couple, Alyssa and Chris. So when they wake up, again, like I mentioned earlier, they woke up separately. Alyssa's comment was, I'm about to say, let me read, and I quote, this ain't a quote, it's a paraphrase. But she said, it sucks not waking up to the person that I thought I would wake up to. But still, I'm being optimistic and looking for the light at the end of the tunnel. Alyssa, where are you being optimistic at? Did the producers tell you to say that? Because you're not being optimistic. Let's look up the definition of optimistic. You're the opposite of that, Alyssa. Like, she's causing everything that's happening to her. She's the cause of it. You're the cause of it, Alyssa. You're the cause. Like I said from the very beginning, she's very entitled, and she plays the victim. I just recently learned about this word victim. I've heard victim before, but I was actually told to look up the word victim to read the definition of it. But she plays it perfectly. Like, she plays the victim. Like, she went through, in one of the scenes, she went through, why is this happening to me? How did this happen to me? Why me? She whines. She plays a victim. Like, everything should be perfect for her. I don't understand why all the stars are not aligning and everything's not happening for me. It was just, it's so annoying. Like, I literally, when I look at her, I cringe, because it's like, you are so delusional. Like, you literally live in a world that I don't know. I don't know too many people who do know this world, but it's quite disgusting, honestly. It's quite disgusting. So Chris, he still got hope. Chris, you starting to disgust me too, because with your hope, throw that away, bruh. Throw it away with her. Just throw all of that. Just throw everything away. Throw the whole show away. But anyway, they do an activity. I think it was paddleboarding or something like that. I was surprised she even did it. I was like, what? She doing something to actually act like she wants to be in this process? But don't be fooled, because 2 seconds later, she gonna go back to who she is. So they did the whole paddleboarding. He keep falling. She up there. Apparently, she's done it before. So she's smoothly just paddleboarding, just, doing her little thing, and he's falling and falling. Again, it could be for, the way they edited things. He probably did fall a bunch of times, but the way they edited it looked like he fall every time he got up, he fell. Again, it could be true, but it just made him look like, oh, you're such a dork, and you're not. She's not looking at you any better. This is, stay on your knees. Because initially he was paddleboarding on his knees. She was like, you gonna get up? He was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get up. No, you should just stay down there. Your knees, you were doing great, but when you got up, you kept falling. So of course he tried to make a joke of it when they got off the paddleboard, like, yeah, best thing is, falling down and get wet, ha ha ha. So it was cute. He was trying to make it, lighthearted. In her head, it was just adding to her disdain for him, her disdain for the whole situation. It's just adding, this is another thing you can't do. This is another thing I don't like about you. This is another thing that, I'm just adding to all the things that I hate about Chris. Like, just add that on. You can't paddleboard. So it don't take much for her to add something to the list of things she hates about Chris. But during that whole situation or that scene, Chris is like, she's so fun loving again. This is the same thing. These buzzwords that Married at First Sight has. She's so fun loving. This is the same thing Pastor Cal said. She ain't fun or loving again. She ain't fun or loving. Stop feeding the words, Chris. He don't think that. Y'all making him say that, but he don't mean it. He better not mean it. Anyway. And then and then I don't know if it's the same scene or another scene. He went and apologized to her. I can't even remember what he said he apologized about. He apologized for, I think, not showing her or telling her how great she is. It was some crap. And he was just like, I apologize for that. And I think she accepted. Anyway, again, Chris, you about to be on my bad list in a second because you keep feeding her stuff that she doesn't need to be fed. She has enough misconceptions in her head. She don't need you to add to that. Oh gosh. So as they were sitting there talking, the topic of her going to a psychic came up. So this was actually, if you watch the after show, this topic came up. So while she was talking to Chris, she said, I went to a psychic, and the psychic said that I was going to meet my soulmate. He was like, okay, well, did this psychic tell you what this soulmate was going to look like? And she was just like, yes. She said that he would have pretty eyes and that he would have an eagle tattoo. He was like, okay. He was laughing a little bit. And in his confessional, he was just like, yeah, I don't subscribe to that, but if that's what she's doing, that's how she found her soulmate, more power to her. But when you watch the after show, it kind of gives you a little bit more insight into what happened. So she told Chris that her psychic said that he would have an eagle tattoo. It came out in the after show that she actually said that, or the psychic said or told her that her soulmate would have a lion tattoo. The other person on the show with a lion tattoo is Steve. That's Noi's husband. So behind the scenes, the stuff we did not see, what had happened was Noi caught wind of this psychic revelation to Alyssa. She was not happy. I don't know if she cried. She probably cried. She cries a lot, so I think she cried. And so Alyssa updated the story to say it was an eagle tattoo that the psychic said, not a lion tattoo. But I think they kind of joked around about it. I think because Steve was on an after show and he was, kind of filling in all the missing pieces as well. And he was, I think one of the other guys was just like, bro, don't take your shirt off because she's going to be like, that's my man. And he was just like, we at the beach. I'm not going to take my shirt off. So that was the story. Her psychic told her she's going to meet a man with nice eyes and a lion tattoo. She just, again, she's twisted, she's delusional, she's a lot of things. I can't even think of all the words and adjectives of who she is right now. But that story alone, ridiculous. So that was that. They did go on, they did have they had a second activity. Chris does this one alone. She does not want to deal with him. She initially said, oh, I'll stay at the shore. Because it was like scuba diving mixed with some other, you under the water looking at some fish. It was some activity like that. And she was just like, well, I don't want to do it, but I'll stand at the shore and watch you do it. And so she was at the shore for a little bit. I think once he went under, she went up. And so the producer was like, what's going on? What's wrong? I don't want to be here. Where do you want to be? Anywhere but here. And then she goes into whining. She goes into the woe is Alyssa. Why does the world hate me? Why? She went into the whining and the victim mentality. She was just like, I'm mad at my mom because my mom was just like, well, how are you going to look on TV? You're looking like you're difficult. Just do it. Her mom was saying all the things that we're all saying. You're there. Just do it. You signed up for it. You keep saying, woe is me. Why me? How could this happen to me? This happened to you because you signed up for the show, Alyssa. Let's start there. All of the things that are occurring is because you chose to sign up for the show. You answered the 100+ questions that they give you. You went on all the interviews. You did the house visit with them. that's why you're on the show, and that's why this is happening to you. So don't ask anymore, why is this happening to you? You are why it's happening to you. Point blank, period. End of story. But anyway, she goes on. She's whining. I don't want to go swimming with him. I'm not happy. Again, entitled, spoiled, biatch. And she's used to getting her way. And it feels like the producers are feeding in on that. They're over there like, oh, what's wrong with you? What's wrong? What can we do? I think that's more so, it's kind of, I don't think it's babying her in a way. It looks like they're babying her, but they're more just trying to get more out of her. They're trying to get more of her little stank personality out of her and just adding to the show, basically what it is. Because to me, like I said, it seems like babying because they're asking her what's going on, but it's also like they already know she's gonna say some twisted, stupid answer that's gonna add to the craziness of the show. That's how I see it anyway. But anyway, even backing up prior to that, when Chris was getting ready to do his little scuba diving adventure by himself, he had the equipment that he had to put on, he couldn't have his shirt on, so he took his shirt off. And Alyssa was just like, this is the first time I've seen him with his shirt off. I mean, I don't want to be mean or anything, but he's not my physical type. I can say that. That's okay to say something like that. And it's just like, Alyssa, we already know you ain't attracted to him. He got an average body. He does. It ain't attracted to me. So I get it, but it's just her saying it. I think anything she said this morning gonna get on my doggone nerves. And then the producers, as she's saying it, they scanning his body. I'm just like, y'all are messy. Just like when they were talking about the teeth at the wedding, they scanning or zooming in on his teeth. It's just like, y'all just so messy. But anyway, it just make him look bad. And it's not making her look any better, but they just kind of, they just drew into her statement and just drew more into her, I don't like him. I don't like his personality, even though she doesn't really know him. She just doesn't like him physically. That's pretty much what it is. She don't like him physically. And then him taking off his shirt didn't help. Sorry about that. But that's all I got for them. We already know they ain't gonna make it. I don't even know why they just don't kick off the show, but I guess it's ratings, whatever. So the last couple, this one's a longer section because I actually added them into the catamaran type, that little scene, because Olajuwon was like super vocal during this scene. So I just added that whole scene into the stuff about them. So Katina and Olajuwon. They wake up in the morning. Olajuwon's talking as usual. Just talking and talking and talking. He has his confessional. Katina, she smiles when she wakes up. I don't know if she realizes it. She just smiles so much. She just smiles because she just loves the experience. She loves being with me. She just, just over and he's just talking. The boy just talk a lot. He would make me tired. I would legit get tired. But yeah, he's clearly still excited about her, so that's great. The cuddle game, they talked about him because he was like, so is my cuddle game any better? She was like, no, let's try this. Let's kind of reenact how we can do this a little bit better. So he cuddles her, and then he was like, well, you hot. And she was just like, you sweat a lot. And so the bottom line is she too hot, he sweat a lot. She don't like all the sweat, so they have to figure out the cuddle situation. And I'm down with, I'm so with that. I do not like a sweaty man. It's something about this I don't, unless you're at the gym, we both sweating, I'm cool with that. But just be sitting there, especially in the bed, you just sweating that, just like, I don't know, that bothers me. And then also, I'm super hot natured, so me cuddling at night, we can start off cuddling, but we're gonna have to cut that off as soon as we turn them lights off and we go to bed, because we ain't cuddling all night, because I'm gonna sweat then. So anyway, so that's the situation they're gonna have to work out, because it seems like they're on the opposite ends in regards to what they like and they like to feel, and they temperature is they all off. So that's that. They had a gym date. O was a bit much. So Olajuwon, he was a bit much. He was like a drill sergeant. And I was just like, she ain't asked for no personal trainer. If she asked for a personal trainer, then I can see you being like, do this, do that. We serious, don't smile, let's do this, get it. You know how to do a burpee. I can see you doing all that. But because I'm on my honeymoon and I just met you and I ain't asked for no personal trainer, don't come at me like that. But later on, it did come out. He was like, well, I was, and I don't know how true this is. I don't know. I don't know what is true that comes out his mouth and what is not. I just don't know. He talks a good game, and that's what I think it is game. And so I'm still trying to figure out what is real and what is not. I haven't gotten that from him. But when he was talking to the guys, he was like, yeah, I took her to the gym, but it was more of a test. I want her to be able to tell me if she didn't like something. I didn't want her to just go along with the flow and just do it because I wanted her to do it. I wanted her to speak up and be vocal. And so that's why, and she did. She said something that she didn't like, and I liked that about her. And I was just like, Olajuwon, for one, don't test me. I hate when guys don't test me. Because especially if I find out that you testing me, I'm going to do everything to fail that test because I don't like to be tested. I don't like that. I don't like it. But anyway, that he was testing her. And so in a weird, twisted way, I get what he was saying. It's almost like the way I feel about Steve when he was basically saying, I am not going to say anything that I don't mean. And right now, I cannot say I love you. So I'm not going to say that. So I feel that Olajuwon in a way was just like, I want you to speak your truth. If you don't like something, I want you to say that. He could have just said those words, but he wanted to test her and piss her off at the same time because she was pretty pissed. She was just like, I don't like this dude right now, like legit. Like one of the things he said was like, yeah, think about what you don't like right now. And she's probably like, I don't like you right now. How about that? That's who I'm thinking about, you. But yeah, so I get where he's just like, I want, because I'm the type of person looking back on, past dating experiences. If I were more honest with myself, and also the guy was more honest with themselves versus us doing the things that the other person wants to do to appease them, or that can become an issue in the future because you never really know what that person actually likes. So if you just from the beginning just be like, yeah, I don't, just kind of like Noi knows I don't like camping. I ain't gonna pretend like I like camp because I don't. I like indoor plumbing. That's what I like. So it's like expressing what you like, expressing what you don't like off gate is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. So again, I see where he was coming from with his little test. I just wish he would have just said those words. So again, the stuff that he does, I don't know. He got me going on a roller coaster ride. Cause sometimes I'm like vibing with him, and sometimes I'm just not. Anyway, so they're on a catamaran. Olajuwon starts off the question. The questions on a catamaran. The first, like anytime they get the couples together, especially for that first time, it's gonna be, who consummated their marriage. And so, of course, Lindsay, just laughing and laughing. They just like, okay, we already know you did. So then they kind of went around and, everyone else did. And Chris was just like, well, y'all probably already know that me and Alyssa have not. We like, yeah, Chris, we did. That's cute. You want to announce that, though, because, that was good. So kind of went around, did that little question. Then the guys went off and had a conversation, and the girls went off and had a conversation. The guys' conversation was just Steve kind of talking about Noi saying that he loved him, and him like, yo, I'm not there. And then Michael talking to him about like, I'm in my head a lot, I'm overthinking, how could I not? So he was trying to get the guys' advice about that. Mark, the shark, was just like, yeah, Lindsay is a lot, and I'm trying to, navigate that little thing. So they were trying to kind of give him advice there. So they were just, doing a whole little guy talk, and this is what I'm experiencing, and what kind of advice do you have for me? So they were doing all that. While they were doing that, the ladies were on the catamaran having their little conversation. Not Alyssa, but Lindsay and Katina kind of got in it because Lindsay, she playing the victim too. We need to call this episode the episode of the victims. So she kind of went into, I felt triggered when this triggered me when, and this is why I did this. And it was just like, Lindsay, sweetheart, you caused your own trigger. You did that. I think Mark was just like, she had like 3 bottles of wine. It's because you drank, you were drunk, that you came out your mouth with all this stuff, and when it came back at you, you got sad and you cried into Mark's arms, and now you want everyone to feel sorry for you. No, but we don't. You caused your trigger, okay? You caused that. So they kind of went back and forth with that. She being Alyssa. Um, Jasmina being Jasmina, she over there like, she ain't saying nothing. So she like, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. She did eventually. I think once Katina and Alyssa had kind of went off, Jasmina was just like, what she's saying is you caused this. So she's not like, she's not coming at you. She's trying to explain what you're saying you were triggered by. You caused your own trigger. So she was trying, and she said it in a really nice way, to kind of get Lindsay to understand. She still didn't understand. Once Mark got back on the boat, she cuddling up with Mark, trying to gain Mark's sympathy. Mark is just like, yo, let's just stay out of everything. Everybody else's stuff, everybody else's drama. If they doing something, it's just me and you. It's just me and you. Let's just, the rest of the trip, let's not worry about that. Let's just focus on us. So he was all about, forget them, let's focus on us, because we gonna keep running into this. But of course, I think in his confessional, he was just like, yeah, she probably not gonna do that. She likes the drama and she's not gonna let go. She's gonna keep talking until she get the last word. But anyway, so that was that. I think they ended up playing this is never a good idea. The never have I ever game is a never have I ever good idea. Like, you especially when you just met someone, because there's a lot of stuff you don't know and you don't want to find out in that form. So of course, the whole never have I ever's that came up, the threesome, having a three. I don't know who came up with that, who asked that question about having a threesome. One of the first questions was like, never have I ever cheated. Steve's finger went down and Noi was like, what? Wait, what? You cheated? But her finger went down too. I'm like, Noi, you can't be mad at him because he cheated, because you cheated too. So I'm like, why are you upset? Or why you? Because she was just like, we gonna have to talk about that later. Yeah, y'all can both talk about y'all cheating situations. You can talk about yours, he can talk about his. So I was just like, Noi, why are you? That shouldn't even be a thing. Y'all both did it. But they ended up talking about it later, and it was something that happened like when they were, I don't know, in their maybe 20s or just younger in their life. So they kind of was just like, yeah, it was a one-time thing or whatever. They squashed it and they moved on. Great. And then the question about the threesome came up, and everybody quiet. Ain't nobody saying nothing. You just hear crickets. And then Steve was like, but like who down for that? So I know the question was never have I ever had a threesome, but who down for a threesome? So again, everybody quiet. I don't know who broke the silence, but Olajuwon was just like, yeah, of course I had threesome. Why wouldn't I? It's like he says things and doesn't realize, like, maybe you shouldn't have said that. Like, if you had a threesome, you had a threesome. I get it. But just the way he said it was just like, yeah, why not? Like, it's just the way he talks sometimes. It's like he glorifies the Isaac part of him. He glorifies the Isaac part of his life. It's like he's talking, like part of this discussion, it's like he was talking to a group of his guys, like they in the locker room talking, like locker room guy talk. Like, that's legit how he was talking. It was just like, bro, these are other couples that already don't know you, and your wife don't know you. So though some of these things can be discussed in this forum, probably not. And just the way, the excitement I feel that he gets when he talks about it, it's just too much. It's just like, you're not over that Isaac guy. Like, you like him. You want him to come with you. Like, you want him to be in the marriage. You want it to be you. You want it to be Olajuwon, Katina, and Isaac. Like, you want all them in one relationship. And it's just like, no, it's Olajuwon or Isaac. It's one or the other. The only one that's gonna be in this relationship is Olajuwon, because she ain't feeling Isaac. So it's just crazy how he doesn't see how he gets so excited when he's talking about that part of his life. So they talked about the threesome. Somehow it got to Katina. Katina was like, no, I'm not down for that. And he was just like, okay, yeah, it does take two to be, to be on board for that. And she was just like, yeah, we ain't doing that. But he was like, but I mean, if you offer me a female, why would I say no? Like, who would say no? And it's just like, again, Olajuwon, this, like I say about his brother, just stop talking. Right now would be the time for you to stop talking. Like, she's not down for that. But I don't know if he was trying to test out her freak meter or whatever, but he was down to have another female in that marriage relationship. Again, everybody's relationship is different. They do what they want to do, but she was just like, nope, because they had a later conversation. She said, I don't do that. My man is my man. I am the jealous chick. And I don't want another female in this relationship. Point blank, period. And I'm with her. Anytime I've heard of that, like, I'm not down for that. That's not what I do. Yeah, don't come my way with that. But anytime I've heard of things like that, when females, or, and maybe this has all been TV, but when I've seen situations, I've heard of situations where they've invited another a female in a relationship, somebody always dies. Like, somebody always dies. Like, I was watching a Law and Order SVU episode. The guy didn't die, but I think the wife cut his manhood off. She wasn't down for that. So she went along with it. It seems like it's always someone who goes along with it and is really not on board for it. And then someone always takes it out of that, I guess, those boundaries. Because I guess it's supposed, again, I don't do this, but I guess it's always supposed to be three of y'all. Y'all not supposed to be, especially the one that's added to the party, that you're not supposed to go off separately with that person. But it always happens where the guy ends up liking that second chick. And then the wife is like, but no, we ain't having this. So somebody always dies. Somebody always gets hurt. Like, it was another show I was watching. This was actually a real life couple killer show. And it was a couple, they were in the bodybuilding industry. And they invited, I think this lady, she ended up, I think she was like their assistant initially, but then she ended up, they ended up doing, like, invited her into the relationship sexually. She ended up dead. Again, it even happened in the Bible. Yo, Abraham was promised a son. And so Sarah was like 90 plus. She was old. She was really old. And he was just like, God, I get what you telling me, but she old. You see her over there, she dusty. He's like, I'm dusty. She dusty. And so this is not gonna happen. So, Sarah was just like, yo, we got this young chick over here, Hagar, she our little maid. Go on and sleep with her, and then we can fulfill this promise of God. If a female tells, if husbands, if your wife tell you to go sleep with another chick, don't do it. Don't do it. Show me that. Show me that. So Hagar, Abraham, they got it on, had a child, and Sarah was just like, yep, I don't like her no more. And she kicked Hagar out. So it's, you get hurt, somebody get hurt, somebody get dead, or somebody get missing. I just have not seen any good situations come out of a threesome. Point blank, period. I'm gonna leave that alone. I went on a whole rampage about that, but that conversation came up. Katina wasn't down for it. Olajuwon / Isaac, he was very much down for it. But yeah. I think that's all I got. Yeah, that last thing about them, they had a dinner that night, and Katina's dress was so pretty. It was like a really lightweight, flowy, long dress. It was just so cute. I just wrote a note that her dress is really nice. It was blowing in the wind. It was like the perfect honeymoon tropical island dress. And I was just like, Katina, you doing it? It was just so cute. I just wrote that little note. So I really, really like that. Another thing they did bring up at dinner, Katina brought up his Isaac stories, and she was just like, I mean, I wasn't bothered by them. I'm like, chick, you lying. You was very much bothered by them. That's why you're bringing them up now, because you were bothered by them. And he even said, so you weren't bothered by? No, I wasn't. I'm just saying, I'm just a jealous. I like to have my man to myself. I don't share my man. That's how she explained it. You were bothered by it, Katina. It's okay to say that. I am bothered by you telling these Isaac stories. Please don't tell them again, because eventually you're going to piss me off. I'm actually already halfway pissed off, but I'm trying to be really polite right now. So please catch the clue of stop talking about these Isaac stories. Thank you. That's really what she should have said. Anyway, after dinner, they went back to the hotel room, and the bedroom was decorated. So they had candles, they had little rose petals on a bed in the shape of a heart, had her initials and in the inside of the heart, and it was KD for Katina Dickerson. And he was just like, I love you. Well, he didn't say I love you, but he was just like, he was just, I don't know, he was just saying a bunch of words. I ain't write what the words were, but I still look at him sideways. I don't know what to believe regarding the words that come out of his mouth. He's used to spitting game. That's what he does. That's what Isaac does. Isaac is still a part of him. So it's just like he says the right things, but I don't know how true they are. And so, of course, initially, if I felt like she laughed when he said something, I felt like she said, but then it seemed like in the confessional, she was just like, oh my gosh. And she was like really feeling it. I was like, I never had this happen to me before. No one's ever done this before for me before. He never has ever been this sweet. And so she was eating all that up. She was crying. She was just like, I wish every female could feel the way I'm feeling right now. And so it's, enjoy the moment, Katina. I hate to be Debbie Downer. I really do. I don't have a lot of hope for him. He is an ex-playboy. He gets too excited when he's talking about his past. I don't think that part of him is gone. He knows what to say to get the females all where he needs them to be. He's taking it slow and steady because of Katina, because he even mentioned, we hadn't even had sex, and I'm feeling you like this, and I want to go that route. I want to get to know you before we get physical. No, you ain't been physical because she don't want to be physical just yet. The reason you ain't physical is forced on you, because you would have been done had them draws by now. We already know that, Olajuwon. So yeah, don't say that. So anyway, that was the end of them. And that's the end of the episode. So again, it was some stuff in this episode that was just like, okay, this is pretty cool. But again, I feel like I was just digging for stuff. I hope next week is a little bit better. It just didn't give me as much as I wanted. But anyway, tell me your thoughts. All that. So again, thank you for listening to my review, and I will see you again next week for episode 6.